the game itself is phenomenal. Being a part of the development of the game and watching it evolve is also very special, but the community is what binds the whole thing together.
You're listening to Hangar 8, the Medrunner podcast about Star Citizen. Medrunner is a community organization that provides in-game medical and rescue services through our emergency portal at medrunner.space.
Thank you.
Hey, Gryffkin here. This episode's going to be a little bit different. I had the opportunity to travel to Manchester to attend CitizenCon 2024.
This line is much longer than I expected it to be.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
So the line ahead of us is...
Oh, wow, this just really meanders, doesn't it? I'm very confused.
And spend some time not only with my fellow Medrunners at our booth, but have some really great conversations with people and other organizations while I was there. A lot of those conversations I was able to record, and we'd like to share them with you on the podcast here in a bit of a retrospective of CitizenCon.
Bold move wearing white shoes in Manchester.
It's fine so far. I didn't get a stain on them.
So a lot of us arrived Thursday night or Friday morning, which was perfect because it meant that we could get in line for early registration.
How much time has passed between us getting here and the other group getting here? Not much, probably.
Not
right?
much, no.
So it's just.
Yeah, it's just.
I think we're fine. Like this is not too.
People are starting to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm glad we're doing this now instead of tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow's gonna be horrible.
Tomorrow's gonna be a nightmare.
So we probably had about 15, 16 Medrunners waiting in line first thing on Friday as soon as it was available, and it pretty much drizzled rain the whole time in true Manchester fashion. But it allowed us to get our wristbands and our swag bags the day before. So Saturday morning, we were ready to rock, roll right into the venue. And while things were slow and people were still trickling in and the convention was starting to ramp up, we got a chance to just hang out by the life-size Hornet and chat with a couple of people. We had an opportunity to speak with Locktree from TTO, and here's some of that conversation.
My name is Locktree. I'm one of the admins for TTO community, and our group is here from all over the world to visit CitizenCon. And our group is very casual. We're very into more into the friendship side, the community side of what being a citizen means. So especially for today, we just want to meet everybody and enjoy the special treats that some of our members have created. We have our own dog tags and everything. So
That's awesome.
It's something new, right?
Yeah, that's so cool. So you guys are from all over the world. What are some of the highlight countries? Where did you guys all come from today?
We have the Netherlands represented, Germany, United States.
Nice.
We even have Mexico.
Very cool.
Yes.
Nice.
So it's all over.
Very cool.
All over.
You guys are a social kind of community org. What are some of the in-game game loops or events that you guys usually get up to?
Are you familiar with Elusive Man by any chance?
Yes, I am.
So he's our founder.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That
Usually says enough.
Yep.
So it's really focused on 100-player capped events.
Yeah.
We do crazy things like hide and seek or anything just random emergent gameplay. We flood our own Discord and then we just hang out.
If you were at CitizenCon or tried to watch anybody else live stream from CitizenCon, you will be very familiar by now with the sounds of the Hornet test engines being fired. And this is about the point in the day when that started to happen. And the first couple of times it was really cool. So this is occurring before I had gotten quite tired of hearing it all day, every day.
I'm super stoked to see a Hornet here because the Hornet is my absolutely my favorite.
Beautiful,
ship.
isn't it?
It is beautiful.
It's so
it
detailed.
It doesn't look real. You know, it feels like a projection, but it's here.
Yeah.
And I absolutely adore it because it is my favorite ship. So I do a lot of that. You know, the community is the thing that's important to me.
It's special, isn't it?
It's special.
Yeah.
I had said to somebody else, this is precious. This moment that we get to all be here, interact together. This is what is powerful and important about Star Citizen. The game itself is phenomenal. Being a part of the development of the game and watching it evolve is also very special, but the community is what binds the whole thing together.
But that's what it means to be a gamer. So it's not about just being online or being digital. It's also with finding each other and being open to relate to one another.
Absolutely.
And being more inclusive and enjoy each other's company.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we get to do that here for this limited amount of time in person to sit down, have a drink, and be face to face, which is such a rarity.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
So much of that joy and excitement was very much the theme of the weekend. Being able to not only spend time with my team in person, but get an opportunity to meet so many other people in person was honestly even cooler and more fun than I had imagined it would be. So, this next conversation is one I had with a fellow Medrunner, Sovi, who is also a member of the Academy department, and he and I work pretty closely together a lot of the time. Getting a chance to actually sit down and talk in person was pretty wild. So, here's how his experience was at CitizenCon.
Alright, so my name's Sovi. I am the Command School Superintendent. I teach and develop courses in the Academy department about team leading and the dispatchers. So essentially the people in command of the Stanton units. For my CitizenCon experience, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun meeting everyone, seeing everyone for the first time in person. My favourite part of CitizenCon was obviously the ship announcements, because I love the ships in Star Citizen, but probably the just below that was seeing all the people that never heard of us, and we bribed them over with this card thing, and they loved it. Just like showing them Medrunner for the first time, and just watching them just think, oh wow, these people are really cool. How have I never heard of these people before? Yeah.
What was the ship announcement that got you the most hyped?
The Star Lancer. I'm a big industrial fan. We've started when I'm not med running and doing academy stuff. I like to do the industrial gameplay. So like salvaging, cargo running, refining when that comes out, base building, that type of stuff. The communication with and speaking to other orgs that we've heard of was very nice. Like we've seen this org like in the verse, and then we see them in real life and just like talking to them and like, hey, it's you guys, and they go up to us and like, hey, it's you guys. It's just like, it's a lot of fun.
One of the other orgs I got a chance to speak with very early on were actually our booth neighbors, Avanguard.
It's almost 1 o'clock, just for reference.
Shout out to them being very cool when we accidentally tripped on and tore down some decorations.
I don't remember.
But after we got it all patched up, they gave me some time to sit down and chat and tell me a little bit about what their org is doing.
Yeah, sure. I'm Matthew. My in-game name is Atomica09, and our org is called Avanguard.
Very cool. What kind of stuff does your org do?
We do everything like combat, industry, PvP, focus on a lot of things, but it's all for us about the enrichment of the content experience, you know? So we try to give like a really strong narrative focus on everything we do. We try to pay a lot of attention to our players to make it feel active. So whenever they're on, there's always something happening, there's always something interesting, you know?
Very cool. I see you've got a lot of really nice posters. These are made in-house?
Everything's made in-house, yeah. We do a lot of concept art. We're just huge, big fans of the game, and we try to elaborate where we can and really get that immersion factor. I mean, we're not a roleplay org, but we just love like to feel like the vibe and the excitement of everything going on in the verse and capture that for the players, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's still pretty early, all things considered, on day one, but what's the coolest or most exciting thing you've seen so far? What are you guys hyped about?
What are we hyped about, guys? The Hornet, yeah. We're hyped about the Hornet. The Hornet's awesome.
Have you gotten your selfies in front of the Hornet yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Just stuck at the booth, but we're all getting our chance at some point.
Yeah, I gotta get the armor strapped on first.
And also, to be honest, Port Olisar, seeing the model of that's emotional, man.
Yeah.
That's been there since day one, and it's nice to see it in the person, you know?
It's a big callback. I know a lot of people miss it. So.
Love it, yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any other?
Just, come on over if you guys want to collaborate. Like, we're probably going to do some stuff in Medrunners too, hopefully. And
Hell yeah.
We're looking forward to just meeting more people, shaking hands, smiling, giving away posters.
Giving away posters. Yeah, beautiful posters.
Yeah, just
cool.
have some memories together.
Thank you so much.
No
yeah,
worries.
I mean, and like, we'll I'm here all week.
As more and more attendees started to filter into the convention floor and it started to get busier, I started wandering around outside the bounds of the small corner of the Medrunner booth. And I could not help but go over and try to chat up some of the Mongrel Squad guys. It's not often that Medrunners get to have friendly conversations with a pirate organization, but this was a great interaction. I was so stoked to be able to get some time to chat with them and just get their perspective on what they're doing in the game, why the gameplay is important to them, and what makes their community so special.
Mic check, mic check.
Mic check. 1, 2.
Oh, yeah, man. It's not
nice
live,
and
it's
clear.
recorded. We're not
Safe,
doing it live.
It's all right, Crane. Don't worry.
Yep, yeah, we're good.
Beautiful.
So, give your name and your org affiliation, just so I've got a soundbite when I go back to edit this.
Absolutely. My name is Sorrel. I'm one of the members of Mongrel Squad. Been there for about 4 years now. Started off as just looking for an org and something to do. Came across their videos. Didn't realise piracy was a thing. This is back into the 3.11.
Yeah.
Never look back. The way they do things is looking for the hardest way to do piracy to make it challenging and interesting. And I've loved that every minute. The teamwork that goes into it to get it all done properly. Absolutely love the way these guys do it.
That's incredible to hear. What's the thing that you love most about piracy?
If there was a particular action, it's shipboarding for me. Every single time. There is something very special about that the tension and the anxiety of we're going through this particular ship now, and the defenders always have the advantage. They can sit in a bottleneck, and we don't know what we're going into. And we train constantly for trying to reclaim is a fantastic fun for boarding. But some ships, there's multiple exits, and we've had people go out another airlock and come around behind us. I love those people who fight back.
Yeah.
One person even actually came around the back and stole one of our ships, and like, oh, God damn it, guys, really? Come on!
So there's a lot of changes coming that have already dropped in .2 with engineering and live components. Are you expecting that to change the way that you guys approach some of the shipboarding?
God, yeah, we've been playing with it a lot.
Yeah.
So we might be bringing spare components along, so we're going to be looking to very specifically target components. If we can take out your power plant without destroying it, fantastic. We're going to have a spare in the back. We're going to board your ship, pull out that knackered power plant, put in a fresh one, and we're going to take your ship and...
Very nice, very nice. So, how busy are you guys usually, and what drives the events?
It's all emergent gameplay, to be honest. So if you have things like the Gold Rush, or when RMC went through the roof a couple of patches ago, people call it a bug or an exploit, but for us it's fantastic because people focus on those areas, and it's a high-risk, high-reward scenario. And if you turn up there and there's 5 ships waiting there, you need to consider, is this a good idea?
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas we generally will be held right back. There'll be a scout there just casually watching you, and the rest of us will be waiting, at which point we'll be herding you out of atmosphere to make sure you don't crash and burn on the ground. And we have had people say, oh, you can't kill us, it's taking you age. So we're not trying to yet, we're trying to get you out of atmosphere. Come on, follow me, follow me.
Right, exactly, because if you soft out them in atmosphere, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah,
you're going to have a bad time. So how do your teams form? How do they run? You guys have just teams hanging out together? Are they pre-formed? Do you have preset roles in how you guys operate?
We have compositions, as it were, so you know that in every operation you're going to need a quantum dampener, you're going to need some distortion, you're going to need a boarding crew, you're going to need escorts these days.
Absolutely.
It's really nice to see so many other orgs starting to bring escorts or starting to bring turret gunners. Absolutely love seeing that fighting back. We have various sizes. Our leader agent has, I'm going to describe it as an entire filing cabinet of ways he wants to move forward. And if you ask him about it, he will talk to you about it for about 4 days.
Yeah.
I'm going to get demoted after this.
This podcast comes out and all of a sudden it's like,
I believe he can see us, by the way. He is actually streaming on Twitch right now. Hey, agent, I'm sorry.
I'm not here to sabotage you, I promise.
We might be, that's fine.
I had a question. Speaking of distortions, have you guys had a chance to play with distortions in .2? Because, boy, are they spicy.
We are always hoping distortion's going to come back properly, specifically EMP. Because EMP is a tricky one.
Yeah.
We are really happy that they finally removed soft def enabling self-destruct. So we could being disabled. still enabling self-destruct, because it should be shut down, because it is just incentivized pirates to go straight for soft death.
Exactly.
Whereas if we disable a ship, it's harder to do it with distortion and EMPs, etc. And there's always a chance they're going to recover and they can fight back to us. Much more interesting. So I'm really happy to see that they've disabled self-destruct now.
Yeah.
Again, gives us an incentive to do things the harder way.
Exactly.
And again, we're hoping to get a lot more distortion in the future. It's
Very
a lot more interesting.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see some of the distortion changes. They're much more powerful than they were.
Hoping they'll stay that way.
It's honestly us too. We mostly use distortions for like catching runaway ships and dealing with kidnappers and things like that. And when they dramatically reduced the damage output of the distortions in 323. Whatever.
It's a weird balance because you don't want a distortion to shut down a fighter immediately.
Right.
So you've got to bring it down a little bit, but then those distortions then become absolutely useless against the C2.
Yeah.
So it's getting that balance in there.
One of the things I love to talk about is player decisions should have consequences, right?
Absolutely.
And they should also be rewards. So if you've built out distortions, there should be a reward for you for bringing a ship with distortions, for bringing a ship with EMP, and there's got to be a payout because you've got distortions on there. You're not putting out damage, right? So giving players that reward for putting in the forethought and being prepared, whether it's distortions or in FPS play going into a bunker adequately prepared or whatever, reward players for preparing and punish them for not preparing.
This is what, I mean, I don't know if you, obviously your podcasters won't be able to see, we have several other orgs affiliated with us.
Yeah.
So we've got the hardcore piracy guys who are Mongol Squad.
Yep.
We've got the guys who want to learn about piracy, our Mongol auxiliaries, or just want to play it a bit more casually than we do.
Sure.
We've got our Stellar Packrat Logistics, our
very
extra
cool.
legal guys.
Yeah.
So if we get a big hit, for example, and there's lots going on, we will hand it off to them.
Yeah.
And they will do the unloading, they will take the big ship, and again, if it's intact, they will salvage it. They'll do all that for us, and again, they are brilliant at that. And then we've got our Merrick's cartel down there. All they do is spend all day smuggling Hadnite into Pleasure. So we've got a nice Merrick bank that they sell out to anyone who's interested. And again, it's emergent gameplay, and I love stuff like that. So getting a ship whole with distortion, the Pack Rats are really looking forward to that.
That's amazing. That's so cool. I love that kind of like departmentalized collaboration. There's something for everybody, right? Of just, different ways to interact with the org and what you guys are doing with whatever gameplay loop that can support it. So that's super cool. I meant to come prepared with a bunch of questions. I've been here since, I got on a plane Wednesday night.
Nice.
Wednesday night, 8 hours in the past.
We're building this booth took 6 hours yesterday, and then we went straight to Bar Citizen. I'm running on 4 hours sleep and caffeine.
Amen. Yeah, I've been up since 5 a.m. Part of my job was to get all of our booth guys a hot meal this morning.
Oh, you guys have a hot meal? They've got hot meals!
Yeah. I got our director team hot meals this morning. I was up at 5.
We didn't get that.
He's in charge of our logistics.
We didn't get hot meals.
You need a group mom. Like, they've started calling me mom.
Yeah.
I'm mom runner now. So I
tomorrow.
When we end up getting you in game because it's mom runner.
Yeah, I'll bring you guys breakfast. Yeah. Hit me up. Find me on Discord or Twitter.
Nice. Still going. Maybe we'll find you.
Oh yeah. We will. We'll be doing a live rescues delivering food. That's a joke.
Whereabouts?
Good idea.
It does sound like a good idea.
Go for it.
So, very cool. It's actually just really cool to see you guys here having a community booth.
Likewise, yeah.
It's overwhelmingly positive as well. Nobody's given.
That's really good to hear.
We've hit ADI a couple of times.
Awesome.
We're working with them, doing a little bit of a thing with the crypto cards and stuff. So they've been really nice to us. Everybody's been really nice to us, to be fair.
It might be a controversial opinion, but I love that there is a place in this universe for the good faith immersive PvP. Right, piracy is a part of the universe. It's a part of the world. It's a part of the story, and I think it's important that there are organizations like you guys that are doing it well, doing it in good faith, doing it in fun and for the challenge, and also challenging the community.
Yeah,
right, forcing folks like Medrunner to prepare better, to be better pilots, to think better. I like to remind people that we're medics, but we're actually super bloodthirsty. If we get a PvP alert come up, everybody shows up. They're like, PvP, do you need fighter support? I'm here, I'm ready. I've got my Buccaneer kitted out. Like,
I know a
I'm
group
good
like
to go. We are so bloodthirsty because we love the challenge. a lot of what we do is just like bread and butter. Oh, I got in-capped in a bunker by Ninetales. And it's like, we will come get you. And that's most of what we do. But when the weird ones come up, what would
be the dream? Like, what's the scenario you do want to do?
Man, that's such a good question. I mean, anything that's hard, we don't get a lot. So I will say some of the things that we don't get a lot that we've actually spent a lot of time figuring out how to do really well is like runaway ships and kidnappings. So we love.
I think we have figured that out.
We love a good hostage situation because again, it's a fun new challenge for our teams. It's like who's got an interceptor, who's got a Cutlass Blue, who's running a QED. And how are we doing it? And again, we've always had just such great interactions with both the client and the bad actor, the hostiles. Yeah. They're so much fun.
I've used Medrunner.
You have?
Yeah.
Was it a positive experience?
It was a good experience. Yeah.
So I did that bit.
I'm not going to make you do it.
I went after somebody went down. I got injured chasing them into a bunker. On my way out, I went down. I was like, right, okay, I've got time. Might as well try, see what Medrunner do.
Yeah.
You guys showed up, recovered me, and went off. But obviously, I was the pirate in the scenario. Not that you guys knew that at the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was good fun. I liked it, and it's like, you just don't show up in small numbers. It's impressive. It's genuinely pretty cool. I really enjoyed it.
Our average team size is between 6 and 9 people, so that's an average team for us. And we will still rescue, play like unlawful players. A lot of people are like, oh, but I'm a pirate, so you guys won't rescue me. I'm like, well, we won't rescue you if you're like, if we know that you are actively pirating, right? If we figure that out, we reserve the right to decline you as a client. But if you're like, I'm trying to clear my crime stat at SPK and I got overwhelmed. We will come in and we'll pick you up.
I spoke to one of your other guys earlier on, talking about how all that works.
Yeah.
Pirates and that sort of stuff. And he said, in the future, you might do something like a captain of a ship and all his crew are included in like a little package. I was like, does that extend to pirates? Yes, it potentially would. And I'm like, that sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you guys feel about the prosthetics and the advanced gameplay that's coming in?
Man, I'm so excited. There's so many things that are going to really dramatically change the way we operate. And we love a challenge. It's this tension between the way we're doing things right now is so successful and so comfortable, and that's great, but also it gets a little boring. We spend a lot of time theory crafting. We've got an entire department called Operations that does theory crafting, writes our SOPs, is constantly...
We got the same thing, it's called Mongol Squad.
Writes our SOPs and is trying to think about like what are the things that... With changes coming up, right, we're in the PTU, what are our teams going to need to know and adapt to? And there's a lot of adaptations we're going to need to do very soon. And it's a little bit of a headache, but it's also very exciting because, again, we're in it for the challenge. Mm-hmm. We're in it because it gets hard sometimes. And the reward of it being really hard and still pulling it off is absolutely epic.
That's where we've had a bit of a giggle about the upcoming medical changes that should be happening sometime in the next forever.
Yeah.
The idea of the prosthetics, for example, we're going to need a small medical wing, and this was our theory of crafting, because we can hit someone, we can down them, we can send someone in to remove the arms and legs and offer them prosthetics, and they can say, I got pirated by Mongol Squad, and it cost me an arm and a leg.
Yeah, exactly. And we may need prosthetic engineers on hand as part of our medics. Right? So there's some guy who's dedicated to, my Mac Flex is full of whatever parts I need to get the client's limb up and running, because it's not just Roxaphin you need now.
Yeah.
We need to replace the friggin' screws in your knee now. You got to give you a knee replacement.
I don't know if you've mentioned the pack rats and stuff yet, but they run a lot of the system for us to work with us, so we can go to them and they'll give us all those services through that. But again, that's gone from we just need a med bed to actually we might need a couple of different things now.
Yep.
How's it going to work?
Yep.
It's going to be exciting in the future when it is a lot more dangerous, and actually to get back up to 100%, you're going to have to go back to somewhere, especially with potentially pyro on the horizon.
Yep.
And they've so much better.
They've teased things like more advanced, like in field, like splinting limbs and doing things like that to help stabilize, where it's less of like magic green goo gun makes you happy.
One day. The beam citizen stuff.
Yeah. I want a stretcher. I want stretcher drones. I want it to feel more meaningful. I want it to feel more like a skill that, you've got a team of people who have spent the time researching and learning the skill rather than...
In all fairness, part of it is your guys' preparation, much like ours.
Yeah.
And engineering. Is it's the fact that you can we don't have a class-based system in the game. That's not happening. Thank God. But Piracy outfit, we need ammo, grenades, military stuff, heavy armor, all that sort of stuff. You guys are going to want utility slots. You're going to want to carry the medical stuff. You're going to want to carry the drugs. Engineers are going to want the medical gun and whatever they need. It's all about preparation, what you prepare for when you go in.
Yep.
And that's what's really exciting. So you guys are geared to the medical side of that. We're geared to the stealing and taking people's stuff side of that. But that's the fun of it. So if we needed to do what you guys do, we are not prepared. No. We need to actually go back, refit, sort out, get ready, come back out, and even then we're not practiced. We don't know what we're doing.
Exactly.
And that's where it is all needed. It's brilliant. I like it. It's
if nothing else, we're keeping you guys in business.
Which I'm not mad about. I'm not mad about. Yeah, we've got our own logistics department. We've got lots of sub-departments, and we actually do sort of designated roles, right? Because we want to be prepared for a future where your medic, your security, your pilot, your team lead need different loadouts. We are already seeing this advantage now to pilots wearing a flight helmet with your MFD casts in Dot 2, right? And
imagine a pilot not in full FPS gear, ready to go.
I know. This is like at the moment, it's not necessarily a great thing, but we have the benefit because you can carry everything in a flight suit.
Yes.
All of our fighters can count as boarding crew because they pull up, they get out, EVA over. They're geared to the teeth. They shouldn't be.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be. So it does make sense that maybe they're going to need light armor and only going to carry a pistol.
Yeah.
However it may work in the future, but that's where we're going to have to rejig and sort our gears out. Boarding teams are going to have to come back because we're not just going to have people diving out of ships.
Yep.
It's going to happen.
Yep, absolutely. So, well, thank you both for taking so much time to talk to me. We'll be here all week. Drop by. This was so cool. I'm genuinely very glad to see you guys here. I'm genuinely a very big fan of the way that your org operates.
This is your first CitizenCon as well, isn't it?
It's my first CitizenCon. I only started playing Star Citizen in December.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. I went
deep end. Yeah.
Full set.
I'm going in.
I bought the game, and then I was really interested in medical gameplay.
I'll take you to the Discord, and you can get in and be around.
Cool, I love that.
You mentioned, I don't know if you mentioned Murak.
Yes, yeah.
They have
You
their own.
can use that without being like a member of the organisation.
Cool.
You can just sit there, just chill, socialise with us, be there around.
If you visited the Medrunner booth at CitizenCon, you probably had an opportunity to speak with one of our members, Gideon. Gideon was an absolute champion of manning the Medrunner booth, talking to everybody, handing out lanyards and wristbands and our limited edition client cards. I wanted to talk to him a little bit about what his time was like at CitizenCon. But honestly, it was pretty difficult to pull him away from the booth during the convention. So after CitizenCon, after we'd all gotten home, I did get some time with Gideon in our virtual recording studio to get his thoughts and feelings on how his time at CitizenCon was.
I'm Gideon H., which, you may have seen me around. I'm the supervisor for the operations department. I've been part of Medrunners since October of 2022. I don't know how many years that is. I can't do math. I really, really enjoyed going to CitizenCon this year. I think the thing that made me enjoy going to CitCon this year is my first CitCon ever. I think what made me enjoy that was going as part of Medrunner to help out with the booth, to meet all of the people that until now I've only ever been able to put a name and a profile picture to. And to just kind of engage in the org in a more physical way. I think I really enjoyed doing that, and that was part of what made CitizenCon so exciting for me. I'm not a person who is really, really into the development cycle and seeing what's coming next in terms of the game and what's going on there. But I have to say that I really, really enjoyed meeting everybody and working the booth and doing all of these things. And I think if you were to ask me what my favorite moment of CitizenCon was for me, it was probably, it's the obvious answer, I guess, but it was Jared giving us the shout out on day 2 on the live stream. It was just after spending all of Saturday at the booth like literally all of Saturday at the booth, and working on introducing Medrunner to people and meeting all of these people, and getting to know everybody from the org that was there. You know, I was feeling really like connected in that moment to the org and to the people. And so then to have something as like insanely cool as this shout out, and you know, seeing our merch there on the table, and it just looks so good, and it pops against all the other things that were on the table. And then, you know, we're working hard to be able to ensure that, you know, Jared can, well, rep us with pride, I guess, is the way to be. Even if that's not, you know, manifesting it as anything, it's just like Jared thinks that it would be really cool to get something of ours. Sick, let's do it, because that's like the coolest thing that I could ever possibly conceive of. So to be able to participate in that moment and feel almost like the pride that comes with it. You know, I had nothing to do with it, but at the same time, in that moment, I was you know, as proud as a mother looking at their child going and doing something cool, right? So I think being able to be a part of that moment and to feel that pride was probably my favorite part of CitizenCon.
Yeah, that was such a huge deal. You were like the booth guy for such a long time. What was it like being there in the booth for so long? Like you said, literally all day Saturday.
It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It was, you know, I got to see like hundreds of people come through, and you know, I got to answer a million questions, which I personally enjoy doing. It's part of why I'm part of operations, is so that I can help answer questions, write things down, right? Was it a lot of work? Sure. Was my voice cooked by the end of the first day? Absolutely. But in the moment, sitting there at the booth, it didn't really feel like anything at all, because it was just, you know, doing it for the love of the sport, if you will, is like entering the booth-based flow state, and then off I go.
What were some of the best questions that you got while you were in the booth?
Oh, that's tough. That's really tough. This might be like a really cop-out answer, but it was on day 2, and maybe day 1 as well. Like, my memory is not that great, but I remember most of it from day 2. We had a couple come up and ask us about like what it was like to be in the organization. They were thinking of joining an organization together, and they were kind of going around to the community booths to us and to other organizations that were there, and they were inquiring, you know, what's it like being in the org? What are the people like? You know, how do we welcome people into the organization? And I really enjoyed having them, and they came to the booth multiple times, and every time they would have some kind of you know, different question, and it all pertained to, you know, who are we as a community? They wanted to know if they would be a good fit and if they would enjoy being a part of the org. And so having the opportunity to, over this longer period of time, help them realize the benefits that Medrunner has to offer, not only as like a, you know, we're grinding out medical missions and we're always on the grind set, but also, you know, there's something for everybody here, and we make sure that everybody's welcome. And yeah, I just really enjoyed doing that, because it was so nice to be able to showcase what I think are the best parts of the org, which is the fact that we are incredibly welcoming and incredibly positive, and we provide something for everybody, right? Everybody gets to have fun. So I think those were probably my favorite questions. Can I tell you specifics of what they asked? No, absolutely not. That's far too long ago. I could not tell you. But the vibe of it remains, and those were probably my favorite.
Listening back to some of the recordings that I did in studio after I got back from CitizenCon, I can hear in myself how rough my voice was. It was a very long weekend. Over and over again, I heard from people all weekend long that they were exhausted, sore, their throat hurt, their feet hurt, their knees hurt. But every single person I talked to said, absolutely, I can't wait to be back. And I don't want this weekend to end. I think by the time the end of the day on Sunday was starting to roll around, a lot of us were running purely on vibes and enthusiasm. It was difficult to feel tired or pessimistic on that convention floor when you're surrounded by people who you've been playing the game with, you're excited to see, everybody's hyped about everything that's happening. There really wasn't any room to be tired. I think you'll hear some of that as we talk with Elfie of Vanguard.
Sure, so I am FPG Elfie, or just Elfie, and I am in Vanguard, and I'm currently the CEO, so the commander of MedTech Wing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What's the thing that you're most hyped about at this event that you've seen so far? I know we still have the redacted panel yet to go.
We do still have the redacted panel to go. The redacted panel is, of course, a very redacted thing.
Yeah.
I did very much like meeting people. There was only one org member that is here that I've known, that I've seen before in real life. And all the others were like great new friends I made. There's one whom I'm going to take back home to my hometown on Monday. We're taking the same flight.
Lovely.
I'm going to show him vacation where I come from.
Oh, that's so nice.
So that's really, really cool. And what I really, really like too, it's almost a bit too far, but yesterday's Small Citizen, I was helping out, I was volunteering, I was helping at the doors, shoving people around.
It was chaos.
It was chaos.
It was so bad.
Horrible, but it was fun.
It was so much fun. I had a great time.
Really, and we had a lot of things. We had people screaming at us. We had people hugging us, right? We had really the entire spectrum of things that could happen to you. Well, hopefully not everything.
Hopefully not the entire spectrum, but a lot of it.
But a lot of the spectrum of the, let's say really good things and just some happenstances that happen when people are drunk, right?
Yeah, yes.
But that was really, really cool, and it hyped me up for today too.
How hungover were you this morning?
Not at all. I am 23 and I don't get hungover yet.
Man, good for you.
Yeah, right?
Too old
you know what I have? I have a headache, which is why I'm drinking a mojito right now.
Perfect.
Because I need to alcohol my headache away.
Yeah, a little hair of the dog. I will confess to having not gotten nearly enough sleep last night and only having a mild hangover. I'll confess to a little hangover.
I must say we came home about 2 something, and I went to bed about around 3 something, and I was awake at 7. And I hear footsteps, and I'm like, Cheeker, is that you? Because he's one of the guys that was staying out longer. And I stand up in my pajamas and I walk into the living room, and it's Lugal, the other guy that came home with me, who's just dressed, sitting on the couch, and looks at me like, "Good morning. How can I help?" Right?
You are too awake.
Lines of that, and I was like, wow, you are awake, right? And he was like, yeah, it was 6 something, so my inner clock was like time to wake up, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. How far did you travel? How many hours are you off from home?
Oh, wonderful. I am 1 hour in time difference and 2 hours in travel.
Nice.
So it's going to be a 2-hour flight back and a 3-hour time difference of Like, you know, because +1 again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am from Switzerland.
Nice.
And I can, after this wonderful interview, give you some chocolate.
I would love that. I would love that so much.
I have some Swiss biscuits I could give you guys so you can share the package.
That would be delightful. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So how many people do you have from Vanguard here?
So we are going to a dinner tonight where we have 16 signed up. Plus we have at least 2 more that I know that are coming but that are not signed up for the dinner. I told them where it is so they might join up with us. And so it's 18 confirmed Vanguardians here.
Very nice.
Well, -1 because 1 is a +1 of one of our guys.
Yeah.
But she's a Vanguardian at heart, right?
Nice. Very. And like, so how spread out are you guys? How many countries, or what's the most represented country that's here for you guys today?
Since we are worldwide, we are very spread out.
Yeah.
I suppose, like with many worldwide orgs, our biggest representative is the US. I'm pretty sure that's quite standard at this point. We have a couple people all over Europe. We have a couple people from wild places, Hawaii, Japan, a couple of Australians, and a lot of people I don't remember where they're from exactly. There's at least someone from the Philippines.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we got people all over the world.
It's funny. I think we mostly have German representation here.
Yeah.
Medrunner is a very heavily German org, so it doesn't surprise me.
That's funny, actually. I wouldn't have thought that.
A lot of Germans. And I think here today, so we've got 30-something people here, and at least half are German.
Yeah, I speak German too.
I sure don't. I'm very impressed by anybody who can speak more than one language because I
Want to go through languages?
Do it, yeah.
I grew up speaking Swiss German and French. Then at about 6-7 years old, I learned High German, so the Germany German. Then at 8-9 years old, I learned English. At some point, I did classes in Italian. I did Duolingo for Klingon. I stopped after about a couple thousand XP in Duolingo.
Wow.
So I don't know much, but it's honest work.
That's great. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, right. And the funniest thing is all my childhood long, I always said, I don't like languages, I want to do math.
How did that work out?
It didn't. I am working in service desk in 4 languages right now.
Wow.
And I want to switch jobs, but let's not let my company hear this.
I'll cut the recording, don't worry.
No, they know it already.
It's usually not a surprise, so.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. I've enjoyed CitizenCon with the languages too. Been speaking to Frenchmen, speaking to Germans. I met a couple Swiss people like me in the plane.
That's great.
I never thought that Switzerland had a lot of Star Citizen players. There were a lot of Star Citizen players in that plane.
Oh, that's great.
You could look around and you could be like, this one looks like a nerd. This one has an RSI shirt on. And he looks like a nerd.
I had that moment. I had a layover in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in the boarding area and I'm seeing people filtering in with sweatshirts and I recognize some of the logos. We're all kind of just staring at each other like we're all the whole plane full of weirdos,
I don't want to talk to you because I know you don't want to have people that talk to you because we all know we just want to sit in the cellar and teleport to CitizenCon, watch the battle, teleport back home.
Yep, absolutely. We all have our headphones on and are looking at our phones and kind of awkwardly looking at each other. I'm like,
there was one guy behind me in the waiting area before boarding, and he was in a Discord channel, and I saw him. He had the same color scheme in Discord. I just looked back and I had to double take. I was like, wait, oh, that's Discord, right? And then he's on the phone and he's like, look, I need to go. The people are starting to stare at me and I'm uncomfortable. And I was there and I was like, bro, I'm so sorry I made you feel uncomfortable. I didn't say anything, but I was sitting there and I felt really bad.
oh no, that was me. I did that. I
would have preferred if he stayed and hanged out with his friends.
Throughout all the chaos and time and energy A lot of the Medrunners still got to just hang out together, have a nice time, relax, chill, go to some panels. I was able to get a little bit of time with another Medrunner on site, Shashman, and here's his experience at CitCon this year.
Hi, I'm Shashman. I am a quick reaction force and pilot within the Medrunner teams. So hanging out at CitCon, I was hanging around a booth quite a lot. It was incredible to see a load of other Medrunners around. That was the best part of the entire event. Hands down, I'm sure a lot of people will say that. But also just seeing the enthusiasm from other community members towards Medrunner was absolutely incredible and eye-opening, really. We, in isolation within our own community, we don't get to see that very often, and that was a huge uplifting kind of moment for me of realization whilst hanging around the booth and talking to lots of lovely other citizens. It was also really fun to see Gideon giving it some at the booth, talking to loads and loads of people. He was an absolute machine. And also, in terms of panels at CRG, it was incredible to see the direction that they're now taking the game in, and it really fosters a place for us as an organization to exist within that universe. There's definitely a place for us, because before everyone was like, where are we going with this? What's the end goal? And that all really nicely stitched it together. Of course, TM maybe soon, whatever. But we've been having crazy hypothetical chats in Discord since then, and they were talking about different things that we would do and stuff like that. So that was also a really good moment within CitCon. That F7A, I think it was it F7A or F7C? I can't remember. The F7A, yeah. That thing was huge. But also, I was told by someone that it wasn't actually life size. It was slightly scaled down because they realised it was absolutely huge. But that thing was awesome to see, and also the models of the Retribution and stuff. That was incredible as well. Overall, just a really uplifting experience and very wholesome to see. Put some Discord tags to faces. Not necessarily. There's some people I didn't catch their names, but it didn't matter because I knew what they're called on Discord, and that's fine. That was awesome as well.
Somehow, after 2 nights of Bar Citizen and 2 full days at the convention center, we still had the energy to check out the Enter Atmosphere event taking place immediately after close of CitizenCon on Sunday night. It was such a cool event. I'll confess that I didn't get as much time to watch the racing as I wanted to, partly because it was just such a nice space to decompress in and grab a beer and talk to people after the convention. There's no more panels, there's no more timeline. We can all just relax, watch some racing, chat with each other, get some photo ops, and start to wind down after the weekend. And at the end of the night, I got an opportunity to get a few minutes speaking with Corwina of Invictus Intergalactic Federation.
My name's Corwina. I'm org leader of Invictus Intergalactic Federation. We are a PMC operating wherever we're needed. So as a org for hire and military, currently we're going to be year 4 of providing security, or helping to provide security for the Daymar Rally. Big enough to have also a couple racing teams involved. So we want to be out there, we want to be helping, we want to be operating as escorts and or just pushing back the tide.
Very cool. From that perspective, we're at the end of CitCon. What is the thing that you guys in general are just the most hyped about, looking forward, churning on?
Well, sadly enough, we just had that conversation. It's planet tech. I want more planets. I want to go. And there's nothing, even on the org, there's no thought. Like everything that they brought out, base building, space station building, as an org leader, it's like, oh, that's going to be complicated. I'm going to have to organize all of that. But with Planet Tech, it's just, they've just made things simpler. So now I'm going to get more systems to fly, to go.
Yeah, the org tools are really cool and it's exciting, but it's going to be a lot of work.
I'm not, I'm sure most orgs are using Discord. People are trying to find some other voice type things, but I think we've used 3 or 4 different type calendar things to try and organize events, and having them sitting, so you just log in, hey, I can look at the calendar, hey, we got this coming up this week, is for me the best. Some logical organization on the ships, that's fantastic, because now it's like by room in Discord and you're hoping to communicate. It's a nicer, also the kill on site, the friend or foe, where I don't have to have one of my people like, hey, who's that guy? We got a friend. I can already mark all the people I want as a kill on site, whatever. And so yeah, of the org tools, I'm happy about that one the most.
Well, especially for a group that does a lot of, inter-org, PMC, you want to have that list of like, these are the people we work with the most. Do you guys have people you work with really regularly, or is it kind of just in and out all over the place? You got big affiliates you're already like, we're going to put you in the rep system?
We already are in a couple of different alliances, and yeah, in that alliance right now, we're already starting to collect names of known associates known to attach who are alt or have been spending time with the known hostile orgs. So it'll be a quick dump that into Star Citizen and away we go.
Very cool. Tell me a little bit about what's the day-to-day for your members like? What are you guys usually doing? I know you guys do big events and stuff, but outside of those, what's it like?
Every day it's just general looking for group stuff. So, sometimes we kind of theme each day. Our long-standing has been Monday Money Madness, where we're just going to make money. So come on and join. It's just a social, jump into whatever money-making thing you got, or jump onto somebody else's money-making thing you got. And, we have an org bank that's an alt that we just send money to. And so it's like, hey, portion goes to the org bank, rest goes to you, or your crew, just things like that. Just keep people in the game, keep them playing, because sometimes in Star Citizen, you set it down, and you're like, hey, I'll wait for the next patch, and then you just kind of drift off. So keeping people engaged is a big effort that I'm trying to work on right now, especially in kind of these slow times.
Keeping people engaged, keeping people updated. Have you guys had a lot of time? I know 3242 dropped while a lot of us here at CitCon. Have you guys had a chance to play in it? Has it changed anything for you guys? Your ships, what you're thinking about with the MFDs?
Laptop has sat in my room and downloaded the client, and that's all it's done since I've been here.
Yeah, totally. Are you guys excited at all for some of the little baby engineering changes that are coming in, co-piloting, power management, all that stuff? Or is that not even on your radar yet until you get back?
No. I mean, because we did do some Wave 1, do some playing around, because they had the A2 fight engineering, so there was some playing around, but it's a little janky. It was someone came by through one pass and just annihilated both power plants, and you're like, I don't think that was intended. So I'll come back to it. Excited for the fire, excited for some of the atmospheric controls. We have a logistics division, and we're already separating out into your engineering. One of the challenges, one fun thing to do is there are 30 beds on an Idris. Figure out how you're going to crew it, providing beds for your pilots, your onboard military, your first-person shooter guys, plus all of your damage control, your deck crew. That's one of the fun things that when I'm bored, I'm just like, how can I rework it?
I love that. Thank you so much. I don't want to take up too much of your time. It was really cool to get to meet you and to hang out and chat.
As we get close to wrapping up the episode here, I've got one final interview with another Medrunner, Mad Doc Ren, who's actually been a member of Medrunner for a very long time, much longer than most Medrunners, in fact. It was really great to get an opportunity to see him in person and hear his perspective on this year's CitizenCon.
Hi, my name is Mad Doc Ren. I've been a Medrunner since 2021, which means I've had the privilege of watching the org grow from just a few members to the 3,000 plus we have now. But I've been pretty inactive in Star Citizen for some time, so I didn't really know what to expect going into CitCon. But I am so happy that I went there, because I got to meet and hang out with some incredibly crafty, driven, and funny Medrunner people in real life for the first time. Not to mention all the other people from the Star Citizen community, and developers even, that I got to talk to about ships and happenings in the game. My favorite panel was Star Citizen 1.0, because we followed the roadmap for a long time but never really knew where the road was leading to until this panel, and now we know kind of what CIG considers to be goalposts for the shippable game in terms of number of star systems, narrative, and gameplay. So all in all, experiencing CitizenCon just brought the whole project into reality for me. It made me so happy I got to be a part of it. Also, medical terrapin. Oh yeah. Mad Dog out.
By the time I'm getting an opportunity to have put this episode together, it's been about a week since I got home. And still looking back, it was one of the best experiences of my life. It was a long, grueling 4 days, including some very long transatlantic flights for me. But I really can't wait to do it again next year. I know there were still so many people I didn't get a chance to speak to, booths I didn't get a chance to see, and a lot of panels missed that, frankly, I still need to catch up on. So if I missed you and didn't get an opportunity to say hi, please drop me a line. You can always reach me at the podcast email, podcast@hangar8.space, or jump into the Medrunner Discord server and ping me at Gryffkin. Or maybe I'll just see you online in the verse. If you see me, come say hi. There's an almost uncountable number of people to thank for making Medrunner's first CitizenCon booth such an enormous success and so much fun, as well as all of the volunteers, crew, and other organizations that came together to make this CitizenCon such an incredible experience. It really drives home how important the community is to this game. And I cannot wait to do it again. But until then, remember to fly safe out there. And when you can't, Medrunner has your back.
This has been Hangar 8, the Medrunner podcast. If you want to learn more about Medrunner, you can visit us at medrunner.space or follow us on TikTok, YouTube, X, or Instagram under MedrunnerSC. For all things Star Citizen, visit robertsspaceindustries.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next time.